welcome Fabian to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Deserted Fear, this new album Doomsday, and more things related to the metal world. So starting with the question, one thing that I hear into this Doomsday is that the band changed completely the sound, because you did first a death metal, a Swedish death metal like the old ways, but with this Doomsday you did more inclinated to the melodic death metal stuff. So why this change happened? Is perhaps something going on, or perhaps who knows?
I'm not sure why. I think it's just we evolved naturally. I mean, we have been melodic death metal since when we started listening to death metal. But I think now we just understand our instruments better and we are able to play this kind of stuff. So yeah, maybe that's why we are more melodic nowadays.
Oh, okay. So for you, what exactly the biggest change the biggest strange that the listeners will find into Doomsday compared to the previous works, Drowning of by Humanity, Dead Shores Rising, etc., etc.?
I mean, when you are into melodic death metal, especially the old Swedish bands like the old In Flames records or At the Gates, Dark Tranquility, whatever, you will love this new record for sure. Because yeah, that's just what we love too, and what we put in there, what we learned from these guys over the years, listening to their music and getting better and better on our instruments. And yeah, I think it's also a pretty energetic album with lots of heavy drumming, fast forward, and yeah, I love the new record and I'm a little bit proud.
Okay. So one thing that I heard a lot of times is around the fans, around the reviewers, is when a band release their first demo or their first album, My Empire in this case, in Deserted Fear, they think that this is the best words from the band around the world, and they don't want to change the sound because they love their first album. But at the same time, the band usually thinks that the last word is the best words until the date. So for you, which are this new album is the best word until today, or perhaps do you have some memories to share with us? Because the first album is the best one, the second one is much better, etc., etc.
I love all records, man, because on all records there's a lot of blood in there. And we spend a lot of time doing this, and so I love all records. And but of course, I mean, if you compare Doomsday to our first record, it sounds like a total different band.
Yes.
Now. I mean, our singer, for example, was just able to sing one tone, maybe like
Yeah.
just different words, but the same tone. And now he has a nice range in his voice and also some emotions. And same with guitars. I mean, I didn't know how to play twin guitar riffs when we just started. But I mean, I love our records, what they are, how they sound, and I mean, if I go back in time, I won't do any different. So, but of course, also my taste changed over the years, and Doomsday, I would say, is just death metal how I love it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So when you start with My Empire, you did a deal with FDA Records, and after that you released one more album with them. Then you're in with Century Media. So how was the transitions to FDA Records to Century Media Records, and how's the promotion and work with them?
I mean, first of all, I must say it's crazy that we are on Century Media, because
Yes.
when we recorded the first record, we just recorded it for ourselves. We don't have a plan to be there where we are now. And we just sent the first record to FDA Records just for fun, and they said yes, okay, we want to release it. Sounds very nice. So we got our first record deal, and after the deal was done with the second record, Century Media asked us if they can do the next record, and we have been like, yeah, of course. So yeah, now three more records later, where we are here, have been in the German albums charts with the last record and supported a lot of awesome, great death metal bands, our heroes like Obituary, Etiquette, and of course that's also happened because of the work of Century Media, of course, because I don't think you get this huge attention without such a label behind you. But of course we played a lot of shows, especially in Germany, and also have a great fan base, very loyal fan base, and that's also a huge part.
Okay, okay. And one thing that I saw in recent years is that Deserted Fear and a lot of bands into the, especially Germany, other bands and Seeker too, that they want to play like Swedish death metal style. So why these new bands from 2000 starts to listen this or start to play Swedish death metal? What kind of feeling do you feel when you play death metal, Swedish death metal, perhaps? And what do you decide to play? US death metal or Finland death metal or Brazilian death metal?
I mean, we love all kinds of death metal, but I don't know why it's especially Swedish death metal. To speak for myself, maybe because I got into death metal with In Flames. I remember hearing the song Trigger from the Reroute to Remain record, and it stuck in my head for weeks. And then I discovered In Flames and also listened to other Swedish death metal bands, and yeah, that's why I like Swedish death metal most, I would say, and that's maybe why we are more Swedish. But at the same time, I also love Obituary, for example. These great guys and awesome musicians, and we are also influenced by them, and also a little bit of Asphyx from the Netherlands. And yeah, I think you can hear all kinds of elements, but maybe you are true. It's most Swedish influence.
Okay, okay. So starting with one question about talking of this new album. You know about this pandemic, this kind of situation. So relating to this matter. So this new Doomsday was composed or was written before the pandemic, or perhaps was written and composed during the pandemic. And why are you decide to release this Doomsday? I think during the last days from this pandemic.
I mean, we started during the pandemic.
Okay.
Okay, I have to go back far more. In 2019, when we released Drowned by Humanity, we toured a lot. I mean, we played headliner tour, festivals, another support tour in the winter, and oh man, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of great adventures and a lot of fun in 2019. But we still have day jobs and family, and our singer became father again, and plus he and our drummer got self-employed the same time next to the day job. So in 2019 we have been constantly on fire, and to be honest, we didn't want to admit that we needed that forced break that followed to the coronavirus. To be honest, so yeah, we put the instruments in the corner for many weeks, also frustrated by the forced break, and yeah, got some distance from the band. And yeah, at some point I just grabbed a beer and the guitar in an evening and just started playing, got some nice riffs, and yeah, and I really felt like, okay, this sounds awesome. There can be a next record. So I showed the riffs to my guys, and they got the same feeling, and we just started writing over the next month. And at some point we had 9 songs. And yeah, so okay, we are done writing. Let's start recording and then just release it. That's it.
Okay. So now talking about the lineup from the Desert Fears, you, Manuel, and Simon are well, one thing that about relationships that the all names are in Spanish. Simon, Fabian, and Manuel. That's a curious thing. But the other curious thing is that you stayed with the other guys from 2007. You are solid lineup from since the beginning. So, how's the experience to work with them by almost 20 years?
I mean, we are friends since a long time. Simon is a little bit younger than Manuel and me, and he's a younger brother of a friend. And I know him since he's 9 years old.
Okay.
And so that's a pretty long time, and we are more than friends. We are like brothers. Especially Manuel and me. We live in the same house. We bought a house together, and we live so close next door to each other, and we meet every day. And his kids are like my own kids for me, and also Manuel's wife is the sister of Simon. So yeah, it's just we are just not friends, not band members. We are family. So, and that's just great. We know what we think, or I know what Manuel is thinking without telling me what he's thinking, for example, and this helps a lot. Staying together, being on tour. It's also in bad times staying together, and yeah, that's also a huge part of the success for Deserted Fear, I'm sure.
Okay. So now we will talk about other kind of matters, because I saw during your last album, Drowning by Humanity, 2019. Then you will release single by single, The Funeral of the Earth, Artifacts of the Black Rain, then Reborn Paradise. These kind of things is I think the new wave of to hear music. Each single, 1, 2, 3. But it's now the method of the label. But now, as you can see, this new method of the label brings new things into the digital platforms, because many people hear just these 3 singles. And always the new generation are talking about the 15 or 20 years old people. They don't want to listen the whole album. So for you, why the albums doesn't have the same impact compared to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s? And what does band needs to do? What does band needs to do to improve or to encourage or motivate the listeners of all songs in an album?
I don't think that's true for us, because we have our own web shop where we sell our CDs and vinyls, and we sold out 300 vinyls pretty quick, and we pack it by ourselves. So there's a lot of work to do next week. Yeah, you are true. It happens much more on digital platforms, but I think as a metal band, we luckily have vinyl lovers, people who buy CDs. So it's really important, I think. We can't finance all the videos and stuff with just digital release. So yeah, the hard copies are really important to us. And to speak for the first 2 singles, like Funeral of the Earth and Artifacts of the Black Rain, there has also been a 7-inch for it, so that's why they are released a bit earlier. And yeah, also the 307-inch sold out pretty soon, or there are just a few copies left. And yeah, we are really thankful for that people still buy vinyls and CDs.
Yes.
And yeah, well, what to do it? I don't know. I think a lot of metal fans have Spotify, but at the same time, but also buying vinyls.
Well, that's why is. So, what is your opinion about the revival of the vinyl? Because the vinyl is the new trend to collect music. Because I'm from the 80s, and I prefer to collect CDs. That's my way. That's my way. All the people like to vinyl. So for you, which is the best way, or the best way to hear the music? Vinyl, tape, or CD?
To be honest, I personally prefer Spotify.
More easy way, yeah.
I also bought CDs for a very long time, but I don't want to have this much stuff around me. So I'm minimalistic guy. So yeah, I like Spotify.
Okay, okay, okay. So now one question they've been talking about with many bands because well, Doomsday is the new release, but with this release, as you can see in the digital platforms, YouTube, etc., etc., you can see a lot of releases around the world. It's very difficult to get attention from the public, get attention for the fans, for the people, etc., etc. But in with this matter, so what are you think are the biggest thoughts to people think when they hear this Doomsday or to select this Doomsday because as you can see it's very difficult now to select one band one album for the digital stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But if you choose the singles of a record wisely, maybe you choose 3 songs who show the whole range of a record. You get attention for the singles, and of course, because of the digital platforms, it's also easy for the people to listen to the whole record without buying it. So they can quickly switch the songs and go through it really quickly and check if they like it, and maybe if they like it, they will buy a physical copy.
Well, yes. Well, we are very close to end this interview, Fabian. And one thing is, what are your future plans that you have for Doomsday? Perhaps a Latin tour, perhaps a South America, well, a Latin tour or a US tour. Who knows, no? Which coming, perhaps more videos, perhaps streaming concert. Who knows?
Right now, we planned some shows here in Germany for the next 2 weeks. But right now, I can tell you that just two shows of the 10 shows can happen. All the others are canceled because the situation in Germany is still very difficult. You are allowed to do shows, but in some cities you have to wear a mask during the show, and at some cities you can just get in when you get 3 times vaccine, and it's pretty difficult. In each city you have different rules, and also the venues they are allowed to open up, but they have just 3 concerts in March left because all the international tours are canceled. So it makes no sense to them for open just for a few concerts. And so yeah, I don't know, we have plans, but we don't know if they can happen. But we have another tour in April together with Dark Tranquility in Enziferum, a few shows in Europe, and we hope this can happen. It looks quite good, and also some summer festivals, but we don't plan that much for this record because yeah, we need more time for ourselves this time.
Okay, okay. So talking about the actor situation, I see a lot of news about the back end about the new date from the festival and this pandemic. So how does the things go for the packing now in Germany? Is perhaps the news is very different than I see, no?
I mean, for the festivals, I think in summer it looks pretty good because everything is open up soon here at the end of March. Also around Germany, like Denmark or Switzerland, Austria, they already opened. So I think it looks good, and I hope there will be the same time or the same energy and all we had before the pandemic on live shows. I really hope to get this back because it's such a fucking long time. We didn't play any show since 2 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really miss this.
Okay. Well, Fabian, the sad times arrived at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one as I did, and thank you very much for your time. I really enjoy this Doomsday a lot because I love this kind of sound. So perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metallica readers?
Of course, man. I mean, we have never been to Latin America, but we really like to watch documentaries about other countries, and it's just beautiful over there. and we really want to go there at one day. And if we can connect it with live shows, that's the best case. So yeah, maybe if there's a promoter out there also enjoying Doomsday or previous records, we really would love to come over to play some shows. And we already met a lot Latin American people at festivals in summer, like Wacken or Partisan Open Air or Summer Breeze. People come here to Europe to go to the festivals, and people are so nice all the time. So yeah, we really hope to come to your country someday.